Hi, I'm Kathy, a career educator with Student Engagement and Career Development. I'm here to talk about negotiating a job offer. With your first job offer, you might feel that you aren't in the position to negotiate, but not considering it could be a mistake. Negotiating salary can affect your salary trajectory throughout your career. In other words, start low and you might end lower than your potential. Understanding there's more to it than money is also an important piece to consider, and knowing if your employer will negotiate is all part of the process. Getting a job offer is an exciting time. Now what? Do you just accept it and be happy you have a job, or should you take the time to evaluate the offer? For many people, talking about money is awkward, but when it comes to your career, it can be a very important conversation that will affect you for years to come in terms of salary advancement, since future salary discussions may be based on what you've earned previously. Knowing when and what is okay to negotiate is something you'll need to determine as you begin and navigate your career. And understand, negotiation varies by industry. When you receive your first job offer, you might feel you aren't in the position to negotiate salary, and that might be the reality. But even when you think there's no room for negotiation, there may be a salary range that would enable you to justify the higher end of the range. Sites such as NerdWallet or other cost of living calculators, and sites such as salary.com can help you with your research. Knowing what the range is and having done some research about cost of living for the location you'll be working are two very important factors. A $40,000 salary for a job in Tucson versus a $40,000 salary for a job in San Francisco will not allow you the same standard of living. Understanding cost of living is essential. Through some research, you should be able to come up with an idea of what would be an acceptable starting salary based on the position, experience, and location. If you don't feel it's an adequate offer, you can ask how the amount was determined so you can assess if there's some consideration of your education or experience that they didn't include. Additionally, you'll want to take into account all components of the offer. This involves determining the value benefits bring to your salary. Health insurance is often the foundation of a benefits package, but this is not a guarantee from all organizations, and packages vary between employers. Knowing the cost out of your paycheck and what those benefits cover should be part of your decision. You'll want to discuss the details with someone from the organization so you can fully understand all components. There may be other components that aren't considered a monetary benefit, but may make your work life more enjoyable, such as flex time, allowing you to customize your schedule. Other benefits that might be offered are paid vacation and sick days, continuing education, or retirement savings, to name a few. Moving expenses are something that can be a great help in getting you started, but isn't something you'd see in your paycheck. There is a monetary benefit, and these things should be taken into consideration. As you think about the salary and benefits, you'll need to determine if negotiation is possible. After receiving the offer, it's okay to ask if there's room to negotiate. Negotiation shouldn't be confrontational. If the employer says no, then you'll need to decide to accept or decline the job. Doing your research is essential. Knowing the organization can help you determine what's negotiable. For instance, if they've recently had layoffs, your chances of a salary increase may be smaller. But if they've had difficulty filling the position, then you might have some leverage. Once you determine if you can negotiate or not, know that negotiating in no way shows you're not excited about the opportunity. Knowing your value demonstrates confidence in yourself. One way you can start to determine the value you bring is to compare your education and experience with what was posted in the job description. Do you just meet some of the requirements, or do you meet much more of their preferred qualifications? Here are some tips on when to negotiate. 1. You have a written offer. Don't even think about negotiating before you have the offer. 2. You can legitimately show what value you'll bring to the employer. Have concrete examples of value you bring to the position that might not have been considered. 3. You know that accepting the amount offered will not set well with you for the short or the long term. 4. You're going to decline the offer unless the salary is higher. In this instance, you'll need to be confident in what you can realistically expect. Here are some tips on when to think twice about negotiation. 1. You already accepted at a lower salary. 2. The employer tells you it is their best offer. And 3. You have no justification for a higher salary. And no matter what, always act professional. Your request is not a list of demands, so stay friendly and open to conversation. You also have to be prepared to accept your best alternative. This involves knowing your bottom line. For instance, the minimum salary you could accept, as well as your target salary, gives you a range in which to negotiate. Only negotiate on the items most important to you. If you feel you need to negotiate everything in the offer, then it probably isn't the right job for you. Once you've determined what you want to negotiate and your reasons, develop talking points to help you be confident in what you have to offer. Here's an example of what you might say in a salary negotiation starter. Thank you so much for the offer. I'm very excited for this opportunity. I would like to discuss compensation if you're available to talk. When you accept an offer, you are committing to an employer. You'll want to think out your acceptance or refusal of an offer. If you accept and then change your mind, it may have negative consequences for you. Reneging means to go back on your promise or contract. It's often easy to overlook the cost to the employer if you renege, but it can be costly to them when it happens. You never know when they might have another opportunity in the future, and you wouldn't want to leave a bad impression. Ultimately, just like you want an employer to be upfront with you, you should do the same with employers. Communicate honestly during negotiations and recognize that accepting an offer requires serious consideration and evaluation. You may get the initial offer in a phone call, but you will want to make sure you see the terms in writing before accepting. A phone call is to let the candidate know an offer is on the way, but an employer may also use this opportunity to see if you're willing to accept. Don't be pressured to accept over the phone, and don't jump to negotiation. You should thank them for the offer and may even discuss some terms, but ask for the terms in writing. If they don't specify the time you have to consider the offer, indicate the time you'll need. Make sure you're aware of any other steps that might be necessary, and always follow up on anything you're asked to complete. Negotiation takes some preparation and practice. Please see our resources for more tips and check out career.arizona.edu for more information.